Welcome to this discussion of Ruth. If you've tuned in and you're expecting to get some answers, well, you'll be disappointed. You're in the week 4. You're beginning to develop and write your commentary. In week 2, you did your title page and bibliography. And remember, the better your sources, the better the research, the better the paper. And the better the resources, the easier it is and the more convenient and efficient it is to be able to write a good paper. In week 3, you began the study of the introduction. You immersed your mind, your spirit, and your soul in the book of Ruth, looking at what was the historical background, what were the prevailing conditions. And you made a decision about a main character and why that person is the main character. You read it over and over again, and you came to a decision as to what is the main subject of the book, or what is the author talking about. The main subject is the argument of the book. And then you looked at what was the main purpose of the book. What was the writer seeking to accomplish in the lives of the listeners when they completed consuming and understanding this book? As you read along, you noticed repeating themes, developing those themes throughout the book. You want to be prayerful as you continue to read and meditate on the text. You are seeking to put your feet into the sands of time and seeking to understand the historical narrative from the original author to the original recipients. You also put together your exegetical outline. We provided the major headings and the subheadings, and as you read, you continued to ask yourself the questions. What's the author talking about? What does the author say about what he's talking about? And as you prepared your exegetical outline, you were careful to not turn it into a sermon or to turn it into a statement of application, but to simply describe what the text is talking about. Now in weeks 4 and 5, you're going to be doing your Ruth commentary. The commentary should describe as clearly and concisely as possible what the passage says and what it meant to the original writers. Again, you're not writing a sermon. You are writing a commentary. You can produce sermons from this commentary, but the commentary is not sermonic. Your commentary should resemble a smaller version of the Bible Knowledge Commentary, Old Testament, or one of the other single-volume exegetical commentaries that emphasize the paragraph units. In weeks 6 and 7, you're going to complete your paper. You're going to write the application statements. You're going to complete the editing of the final paper. You're going to take into account what your professors have provided for you in feedback. And when you do this editing, it's always helpful to have somebody else looking over your shoulder, reading it, helping you to make sure that it makes sense not just to you, but it makes sense to the reader. And as you develop your principles of application, you need to now apply the 5 principles or the 5 steps of the Hayes article to the book of Ruth. Remember that a text cannot mean what it never meant from the original author to the intended audience. Exegetical study and expository preaching or teaching begins with the message from the original author to the original recipients. What did the text mean to the initial audience? What are the differences between the initial audience and believers today? What is the universal principle in the text? How does the New Testament teaching modify or qualify this principle? How should Christians today apply this modified universal principle in their lives? Remember the words of the Apostle Paul in 1 Thessalonians 2:13. He said, "For this reason we also constantly thank God, that when you received the word of God, which you heard from us, you accepted it not as the word of men, but for what it is, the word of God, which also performs its work in you who believe." As you immerse yourself in the book of Ruth, my prayer is that God will use it to change you into the image of Jesus Christ.